Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It is ATP Madrid Open Draw Preview and Prediction time. And as always, we're going to go through every single match, make our way through the draw, and ultimately I will give you guys my champion. Before we do get into it though, remember to hit that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Do also click the notification bell so you get alerted to all new uploads, and shout out to our members. Thank you for your contributions. Much appreciated, of course. Okay, let's get into it. Before we do, I'm going to talk very briefly about the projected quarterfinals, which don't always come to fruition because, as we know, especially at Masters 1000 level, there can be upsets of epic proportions sometimes. But in this instance, I think we might see at least a few of these names. Zverev and Rublev is the first projected quarterfinal. Zverev, of course, is the number 1 seed in this tournament. He replaced Alcaraz as number 2 in the world after Alcaraz lost in the final of Barcelona to Rune, and Zverev beat Shelton in the Munich final. Sinner is not in this event as he is still banned from playing. He will be back in Rome. So Zverev versus Rublev is the first projected quarterfinal. Fritz versus Rune, newly crowned Barcelona champion Rune. Draper versus Djokovic, that would be a great matchup. I actually would love to see that. I think the only time they played was at Wimbledon a few years back. Draper did take a set off him, but I think Djokovic that year was handing out a few free loan sets even here and there. But on clay, it'll be an interesting matchup. I'd like to see it. And then Dimona versus Alcaraz, which, look, it was an entertaining match in Barcelona, but I think Alcaraz has he just has the measure of Dimona, especially on a clay court. So let's get into it. Alexander Zverev has a bye, so he will be through to the second round. RBA or Roberto Batista Agut plays João Munar. I'm going to go with Munar to get through that one. Carreno Busta has a wild card. He plays Nuno Borges. I'm going to go with Nuno Borges. Fokina and Cerundolo both have buys. Corentin Moutet plays Harold Mayo qualifier. I'll go with Moutet. Comisana from Argentina plays Pedro Martinez. I like Pedro Martinez on clay, so I'll go for him. Feast and Shelton both have buys. And Pesci Pericard, if I'm not mistaken, a junior French Open champion, plays Mariano Navone. Pericard has flashed deceive recently, unfortunately. Hasn't quite been in the vein of form I'd expect. I'm actually going to go with the Argentinian to get the win there. Lajovic and Ethan Quinn both qualifiers. I'll go with Lajovic on clay. Mensik and Poprin both have buys. Then, in my opinion, the pick of the first round matchups, Alex Michelsen versus Alexander Bublik. Both players are not, in my opinion, super comfortable on clay. I think Michelsen, though, does have a game that should be able to translate quite well on the red dirt. For Bublik, I'm not sure his game is really suited to I say slow, but in Madrid, of course, with the altitude, it does and can suit players who can serve big, because it just means that the ball flies through the air at altitude in Madrid. However, I still think that Michelsen will get the win. Monfils plays Borna Goho, qualifier. I'll go for Monfils. Rublev, the 2024 champion, beating Felix Auger-Aliassime in the final. He has a bye, as does Taylor Fritz. O'Connell plays Ugo Carabelli. I'm going to go with Ugo Carabelli to get the win there. I'm also going to go for Bonzi to beat Marin Cilic, a wild card. Hakac and Korda both have buys. Then we've got Coleman Wong, who's a wild card, versus China wild card. I'm going to go with Coleman Wong. Safiullin plays Rinderknech, and I'm going to go with Safiullin. Rude and Medvedev both have buys. Qualifying in Fognini plays Jag. Good to see Fognini playing qualifying, by the way. Go with Fognini there. Cerundolo, that is Juan Manuel Cerundolo, the younger brother of Francisco. He is a qualifying, plays Kovacevic. We'll go for the Argentinians to get through that. Felix Auger-Aliassime, last year's finalist, has a bye, and Brandon Nakashima also has a bye. Sebastian Offner plays qualifier Hugo Gaston. I'm going to go with Hugo Gaston. Fabian Marjan plays Flavio Coboli. I'm going to go with Marjan to get the win here. Runa and Draper both have buys. Greeksport plays Vit Kopriva qualifier. We'll go Greeksport. Leonard Tien plays Marcus Sharon. On clay, it's an interesting matchup. I'm not sure whether Tien's style is the most suited to clay because of his counter punching style, which I think he might be a bit underpowered on clay. So I'm going to go with Marcus Sharon. Berrettini and Hatchnell both have buys. Riley Opelka plays Hijikata, lucky loser. We'll go with Opelka. Then Fonseca, even plays Elmer Moller qualifier. And great qualifying wins for Elmer Moller. Go for Fonseca. Paul and TFO both have buys. Quinton Hallis plays Luciano Darderi. We'll go for Hallis. Kofan and Alexander Muller. I think on clay, I'll go with Alexander Muller. Umber and Baez both have buys. Juma versus Bellucci. Bellucci for me. And then Chorich qualifier versus Arnaldi. Arnaldi hasn't been playing the best tennis, I'm going to be honest, but I will pick him. I'm hoping that he'll pick up some form. Djokovic and Dimona both have buys. Then another interesting first round matchup in Sonego versus Kecmanovic. I'll go for Sonego though. Nishikori to beat Vukic for me, and then Shapovalov and Tsitsipas both have buys. Lucky loser Botic van der Zandschulp plays Jan-Lennard Struff, who made the final in Madrid a couple of years back. I'll go for Struff to hopefully start finding some form. He's been in poor form this year. Echeverry plays Medevic, and I think on clay, Echeverry for me. Musetti and Dimitrov both have buys. Then Nicholas Jarry plays Daniel Altmaier qualifier. I'm actually going to go with Daniel Altmaier because Jarry has not been playing particularly well this year, and unfortunately, I don't think his fortunes will change in this match. Boo plays Jacob Fernley qualifier. I'll go for Fernley to get the win. Mahac and Lehechka, the Czech compatriots, both have buys. Cameron Norrie to beat Martin Landaluce wildcard. And I'm going to go with Zizou Bergs to beat Yoshihito Nishioka. Alcaraz has a buy. Right, second round. Zverev to beat Munal for me. Fokina to beat Borges. Cerundolo to beat Mute. Feast to beat Martinez. Shelton to beat Navone. Mensik to beat Lejovic. Is that right? On clay, Mensik is just not the same player. I'm actually going to go with Lejovic. Popperin to beat Mikkelsen. Rublev to beat Monfils. Fritz to beat Ugo Carabelli. Hakac to beat Bonzi. Sure. Korda to beat Coleman Wong. Rude to beat Safiullin. Fognini could beat Medvedev, I'm telling you now, but I'll go with Medvedev. Felix to beat Cerundolo, that is Juan Manuel Cerundolo. Nakashima, Ugo Gaston, will go with Ugo Gaston. Runa to beat Marjan. Draper to beat Greeksport. Berrettini to beat Giron. Hachinov to beat Opelka. I'm going to go with Fonseca to beat Tommy Paul. It's a big call, but I'm going to go with Fonseca to beat Tommy Paul. Quinton Hallis and Francis Tiafoe. Tiafoe for me. Umber to beat Muller. Baez to beat Bellucci. Djokovic to beat Arnaldi. Dimona to beat Sonego. Yeah. Shapovalov, Nishikori. Tsitsipas to beat Struff. Echeverry, Musetti. This is a potential banana skin for Musetti. I'm actually going to go with Echeverry to get the win. Dimitrov, Altmaier will go with, even though Musetti made the Monte Carlo final, I actually think the conditions, and I just think maybe he's going to have a slight dip after that really big high. Dimitrov, Altmaier will go with Dimitrov. Mahac to beat Fernley. Norrie to beat Lehechka. Alcaraz to beat Bergs. Zverev to beat Fokina, I think. Feast to beat Cerundolo. Shelton to beat Lejovic. Rublev to beat Poprin. Fritz to beat Hakac. Rude to beat Korda. Felix to beat Medvedev. No, Medvedev to beat Felix, actually. I'm going to go for it. Runa to beat Gaston. Draper, Berrettini could beat Draper on clay. I'll go with Berrettini. Hachinov, Fonseca, it's a tough one. I'm going to go with Hachinov. Fonseca's super solid, but I don't see him making it really far in this specific tournament. Tiafoe and Umber will go with Tiafoe. Bias Djokovic. Dimona to beat Nishikori. Tsitsipas to beat Echeverry. Mahac to beat Dimitrov. Alcaraz to beat Nori. Round of 16. Zverev Feast. I want to go with Feast to beat Zverev. I know Zverev just won Munich, but Feast, after the win against Zverev last year in Munich, the way that I've seen him play, for example, against Alcaraz in the, not at Barcelona, but in Monte Carlo. The only thing I'd say is that Zverev plays really well in Madrid, and with his serve, he seems to have a lot of. He just seems to have a lot going for him in these conditions. Shelton Rublev. Shelton's been playing some good tennis. I'm going to go Shelton to beat Rublev on clay, which is a big call. Fritz Rude. I'm going to go for Rude. Rune to beat Medvedev for me. Berrettini to beat Khachanov. Djokovic to beat Tiafoe. Tsitsipas to beat Dimona. He should beat him. Alcaraz, Mahac. Quarterfinals. Arthur Feast, Ben Shelton. We'll come back to that. It's a real tough one. Rune to beat Rude like he did in Barcelona. Berrettini, Djokovic. Alcaraz, Tsitsipas. Alcaraz. Madrid. Feast and Shelton. Go for Feast. Feast or Rune. I'm going to go with Rune. Will I go for Rune? Yeah. And Alcaraz to beat Djokovic. He beat him in Madrid in 2022. That was an incredible run. Beat Nadal in the quarterfinals, Djokovic in the semifinals, Zverev in the final. We'll go with him to beat Djokovic in the semifinals on clay. And then I've actually gone for a repeat of the Barcelona final with Rune Alcaraz. I'd be surprised if Rune wins Barcelona and Madrid, though. That's quite unlikely. I'm going to go with Alcaraz to get revenge over Rune and get the win in Madrid. He's won it twice, I think in 2022 and 2023. Last year, he lost to Rublev in 3 sets. I don't see something similar happening this year. I think the conditions do suit him. I think he will love playing here. And I think Rune is in really good form. And if he plays the style of tennis and brand of tennis that he played in Barcelona, he'll have a really good tournament here as well. But I'm going to go with Alcaraz to beat Rune in the final. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to make the finals, semi-finals, quarterfinals, and more importantly, who do you think is going to win? Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and we'll see you in the next video.